Oh, hello. Welcome to this episode of Unloaded. Whether you're watching, whether you're listening, glad to have you on board and glad to have John Barclay and Stephen Ferris on board as well. John, you put a picture up for those that are listening. John has been in a white room for the last 4 weeks. That resembles some sort of institute or hospital, but you've put something up. Well done, mate. What is
Thank
it?
you. It's a picture of Ashton Lane, and you've been to Ashton Lane before. This is where all the bars are in Glasgow. So,
To be honest, mate, you look like you're in a massive white post box.
I'm a man of simple means, Thomas.
Yeah.
Don't just flash it out. Look at you with all your crap in the background.
Oh, mate, I got some wicked stuff here.
Give me some. I'll take some.
I got a Roy Keane signed photo here. That will go.
See you at the next locker room dinner. That'll be up for.
I know.
I got a Gaza. I got it all. Whatever you want. Daniel Craig. You know the lot. Wheeler and Dealer. Stevie, how are you, mate? Tired? We're tired.
Good.
What's the level? 1 to 10 tiredness?
Yeah. I want to know.
It's not too bad. Maybe a 5.
5's not bad.
Well, that's quite bad, mate.
Yeah, 5's not
Give
bad.
it a
That's
week.
quite bad. I'll get your bloods done. You know what you like. Be ill again. Right, we're going to have to rush on with the opening of this show because we've got a guest on. I'd actually say friend of the show, Jamie Dobie from Glasgow in Scotland is joining us. Now, Jamie, we know we haven't got you for long because you've got, is it a massage you got booked in?
Yeah, you're making me look bad, but yeah, we've got some massages tonight. We've just arrived off.
Ooh.
the
Do
plane
you
in
hire
South
people in
Africa
for
last
that or do you bring your own? Just out of interest.
night. No, they're hired in from South Africa, and they're very good over here, to be fair.
Yeah.
Sort of changes up, depends where we are in South Africa, but we're down in Stellenbosch, but hired in.
She's not doing the massage anymore, Jamie.
Shiz hasn't actually made the trip, which is
Oh,
the first time in a long time. Shiz is the
Shiz
kit
is
man.
the bag man who's been there for 25 years.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to then, Jimmy? What's the hamstrings, calves? Do you like a neck, head massage, feet?
Toe massage.
What's
we
your
legs.
go-to?
A wee legs flush is always the go-to, isn't it? Especially when I started, I didn't really know. First time I get a massage, I'm just looking around and seeing what the boys are asking for. So that's sort of the normal.
Are you one of
Hammies
these?
and
Are you one of
calves.
these players that has a massage even though they don't need them? So like the genuine people that have absolutely bollocks that need them can't because you've taken their slot.
Books and weeks in advance.
Hopefully not. There's plenty of slots, so most of the boys have some space. But I'll leave there's some longer slots so I'll leave them for the forwards because they.
How was the journey over? Was it fun?
Yeah, it was decent actually. So this time we flew Glasgow, Amsterdam, Cape Town all throughout the day. So we were up early on
Business
about
class?
6 o'clock. Not for me. I'm at the back. Don't you worry about that. Some of the boys were up the front, but you can guess who. Some of the bigger and some of the more experienced boys. But no, I haven't quite qualified for that yet. So we arrived at about 10 p.m. last night. So most of stuff arrived. My luggage didn't arrive. 4 of our bags didn't arrive. So that's a bit niggly. So that's, I think, on the flight down, should be arriving soon today from Amsterdam. So I'm without much kit, but everything else and everyone arrived safely.
Well, look, if I was Franco Smith, I'd be bumping you up to business class because it's been a brilliant start to the season. You start off at 9, played 3 games there, then you played wing. Is there any other positions that you fancy?
Good question. I think I'll probably stick to those at the moment. I think I have. There has been times where I've, especially at the back end of last season, I was covering 15 as well, and just the way the games went last year, 15s. Josh Mackay was playing 15 a lot. He actually stayed fit, thankfully, for all the games. So that was in the back pocket. I haven't needed to go there yet, and now sort of both or all our 10s can sort of cover 15 as well. So I don't think that's such of a theme for the moment. But yeah, with a wing, bit of 9 so far.
Dabbling, nice.
Jimmy, tell us a little bit about the season so far. Obviously, was up in Belfast for the first game. It didn't go to plan in terms of the result, but like I'm sure you were probably sitting in the changing room after the game, scratching your head, saying, "How did Ulster win that one? And how did we not get the result?" But you have not let that get in your way of some fantastic performances and good results. So have you sort of used that defeat in Belfast to kind of drive it on a little bit over the last few games?
Yeah, I think so. As you say, I think we were obviously frustrated not to get the result. And to be honest, we weren't too frustrated with the performance. Our actual performance in that game, and this was from the coaches as well in terms of their feedback, we actually performed a lot of the stuff that we wanted to. And for the first game of the season, they were actually pretty happy. We obviously didn't get over the line. Well, Ulster scored 4 or 5 minutes after the time, and we didn't take as many chances and convert the pressure that we had into points, which would have been great. But yeah, I think the learnings that we took from that have helped us massively in the last 3 games. And they've been a bit of funny games. I think the Benetton game we had second, we got a lot of our attack flowing, scored some nice tries. And then we were down to Cardiff and we scored some really good individual tries, but our defence probably lacked a bit. And then in Zebre, we sort of got a bit of a mix of both. Obviously scored a good number of tries and didn't concede one, which is always nice. So it's sort of been bubbling along nicely and sort of to and from between our attack and defence, which one's firing. But I think hopefully we're at the point now, 4 games in, where we've got both sort of on a level for the next couple of games, which are obviously massive.
Jamie, I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask you anyway. You must be eyeing up the Ulm Internationals. Obviously toured in the summer, picked up a couple of caps. Previous year, any communication ongoing with Gregor? I know he talks to the guys a lot.
I've not actually spoken to him yet. I know he was in the building at Scotstoun at the start of the week, I think, grabbing a few boys, but didn't get a chance to actually catch up with him, didn't see him in person. So obviously, yeah, as you say, that is the goal. Obviously want to be involved in the squad first of all, and what that looks like. Hopefully involved in as many of the matches as possible. As you say, I think the tour was great in summer. Obviously a bit more of a development squad in some senses. A lot of boys getting their first caps, a bit of touring around the Americas, which is good fun. But yeah, obviously the goal is to sort of get involved in these big games, and they are the Ulster Internationals at Murrayfield and obviously the Six Nations, which is a bit further away. But yeah, definitely a goal for me and a lot of the boys in the squad.
You mentioned the tour. There's a few new caps. What is there initiation that you guys do?
Well, traditionally, I think it's meant to be a new cap is meant to have a drink with everyone in the matchday squad that night.
Yeah,
didn't quite end up happening because I think the Canada game we had 10 new caps just in the one game, so the rest of the team would have ended up pretty much doing the initiation as well. So and just the way that the travel worked, we weren't actually having that. But there's nothing too major, and I'm not actually hiding anything here. There isn't actually anything
a
too
song
major
and maybe a
going
little
on.
drink.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. There's a song everyone sings on the bus on the day of captain's run normally, but they actually spread them across the whole week because there's so many of them. We couldn't fit 10 songs on the one bus trip. So yeah, everyone has to stand up and sing a song. That is true.
You know,
Richie Gray ruined that, Shanks. Richie Gray is the reason they were meant to stop doing that. He fell through in the Cardiff Hilton, fell through the glass shower after doing 15 drinks through the glass.
No way.
Yeah, found by his roommate. Bizarrely, it wasn't even cut, but they said that was the end. He'll deny it, but
only takes one person, doesn't it?
Yeah, ruins it for everyone.
You know, you only need someone drunk in Loch Lomond at a variety charity event for the following year to cool down a little bit. Not naming any names. Jamie, have you noticed anything different this year after being champions? Like, do you feel that teams might target you a bit more?
Yeah, well, I think the obvious is that everyone wants to win every week, but I think there is that added element that you become a bit of the hunted this season. I think we even noticed it in pre-season. We sort of felt that we had the fixture. We were away in Zebre with a very young squad and got beat pretty comfortably off them, and then had Connacht at home the week after. And even just in those fixtures, you seem to be, whether it's because we won last year or whether it's just the levels that they brought to those games. But even in the start of the league, I think every week is massive now because teams want to get the scalp of beating us and being reigning champs. So yeah, the intensity has definitely gone up, but it just sort of, obviously, it's the focus for us is we have to keep our level consistent. We can't sort of have too many ups and downs throughout the season, because we know every week's going to be a big one.
I don't know if you watch any of the shows, but Ryan Wilson loves saying "Hunter becomes the hunted." That's like his favourite saying every
He
single
must
week.
have heard it.
He's, even John gives it a bit of a oosh. Ooh.
Yeah, that was the best.
Puckers the lips to it.
That was amazing.
Right, we're going to let you get off to your recovery. But before you do, final question would be Snog, marry, avoid. You've got Gregor Townsend, Franco Smith, and Ryan Wilson.
You can't do this. I think, well, careful what I say here. Wilson actually gave me a kiss on one of the post-match interviews, must have been a couple of seasons ago now. So I've done that, so I'm avoiding him. We'll get that out of the way. You put me in a predicament here. Was it Snog, marry?
Avoid.
Yeah.
Avoided Wills. I'm going to get clipped up for this, haven't I?
Pretend you got bad signal.
Franco and marry Tinney.
Oh, lovely.
Most cash, probably. That's why. Great answer. Hey, look, I hope it goes really well for you on a personal level and with the team in South Africa. Good luck, and I hope it goes well for you in the autumn internationals as well, mate. Thanks for coming on the show.
Perfect. Thanks very much. Cheers for having us on.
Cheers,
Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Lovely guy.
Lovely guy.
Yeah.
What do the boys think of him, John?
Playing well, boys.
He's playing bloody well. Do you know what? I kind of missed him in terms of, you 3-4 years out of the game. He actually went on one of these scholarships to New Zealand. He went and played Bay of Plenty, and then when he was real young, like 18, and had a bad injury. He's been one of these guys that's been on the radar for years, and then last year played a lot. George Horn played. I think he's the Form 9 in Scotland, definitely. Quality, consistent. His boxing is good. He's rapid. His distribution's improved. So yeah, I think he's well in the running come autumns.
Comes across really well,
agree.
as a person as well, which is great for people like us when we interview him. Right, we'll start with the review chat now. We'll just go big. There'll be no buttering up. We'll go straight in there.
Dragons Lions.
Number one game of the weekend, Leinster, Munster. Stevie, I saw you in the studio with your school shirt on. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. The intensity was there from the first minute. 80,400 people, I think.
That's brilliant. Record.
Yeah, unbelievable for the league and for all the other teams. And I'm not sure how many more games there might possibly be this season in Croke Park. I know they have the Aviva because of all the work being done to the RDS. But with a couple of concerts maybe being on at the Aviva, you never know. Leinster might play a few more games at Croke Park. I think it's a brilliant spectacle. Really is. And Munster, I think Munster went 21-0 down in the game and didn't really play that badly. I thought their attack was half decent. They made plenty of line breaks. They beat 35 Leinster defenders compared to Leinster's 19. They had more meters carried. They had more offloads. They had a little bit more possession in the first half. Munster didn't play badly. Just Leinster were so clinical. They were unbelievably clinical. The speed of the ruck ball in the opening half an hour was an absolute joke. Yeah. Gibson Park on a plate. Keelan Doris was ridiculously good. I think close to 20 tackles, close to 20 carries. And yeah, do you know what? There were some key moments. I'm not sure if you've seen them, Shanks. The knock on, the Snyman knock on just before their second try. There was the knock on. I think it was, I can't remember what the Leinster winger knocked it into touch, but it was given for a Leinster throw. 2 minutes later, they score off Turner. They score off that. So just fine moments. And Munster lost a couple of key guys. They lost Scannell, they lost Barron at hooker, they lost 3 lineouts on the bounce. 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 21 minutes. And when you're struggling to chase a 21-0 lead, you need your set piece to work well. But just all in all, it was an unbelievable game. And fair play to Munster. They kept Leinster nilled in the second half.
Yeah.
And scored a really nice try themselves. So they can take a lot of positives out of that. And with the amount of injuries that they have to come back, they'll be much better moving forward over the next few rounds.
There was a forward pass in the first half that looked marginal. Could have gone either way, really.
Well, what about the 22? The mark when he jumped.
Yeah, you got to have your foot. I think if you have your foot on the line,
yeah,
then it's a mark. I think when he catches it, he lands. It might be on there, but I mean that's only small amounts. But they had chances as well. I think Gary Ringrose was maybe a little bit lucky with the tackle he had, which knocked the ball forward, and Munster couldn't recover from that because that was on then. I thought Munster looked much better when they slowed their footwork down in attack, because the length of the line speed was so much they kept running into that. And as soon as they sort of put the foot on the gas a little bit, they were able to play the balls out the back, and they were able to then get a little bit outside of Leinster. But look, it was a brutal game. It was physical, but look, Leinster just showed their class for me. They've got that extra probably 10% maybe at the moment that Munster don't have.
What about the Leinster defense?
I think I think your point on Leinster, like you say, Munster probably didn't play that badly. I think I played against Leinster so many times and felt like that, and you still get cuffed. Like that's how good they are, and I think you're right, Shanks. They can go up again and again and again. It's a pretty frightening proposition for the rest of the season.
That's the most convincing I've seen them play, I think, so far this season, with accuracy, with their attack and their offload, and they just managed to get on the outside of Munster as and when they wanted in the first half, and the job was done. You're right, mate. Didn't score in the second half, but didn't need to. Just
didn't need to
defended. Shut up shop. Right, we'll stick with you, Stevie, for Ulster Connacht. Another really good game. Really enjoyed this.
Yeah, do you know what? It was scrappy. Like there was lots of mistakes in it, but it actually made for a good game, and it was a bit tit for tat. Connacht, a bit like Glasgow, might be kicking themselves in the change rooms, thinking that they maybe had a chance to get the victory. But some nice tries. Shane Bolton on the wing. What a beast of a winger he is. Absolute unit. Over 100 kegs, punching holes out wide. And I don't think Ulster are playing particularly well. Their maul defence is absolutely shocking and really poor. A couple of individual errors. The Alan O'Connor mistake at the line out with Ben Murphy went through, but just Ben Murphy. What about him? He's been electric, hasn't he? The first 4 rounds of the season, he's keeping Keelan Blade out, and he might be in with a chance of chasing down the likes of Conor Murray or Craig Casey at Munster to get some international honours. But yeah, it was a game that it just felt like it was such a big drop off from the one previous to it. Like, when you're sitting watching Leinster Munster and you just see that, the bar is just here.
Quality and physicality.
Yeah, the quality. And then all of a sudden you go into that. And just because both sides were mauling quite a bit off their penalties, Ulster's ill-discipline, given off to the referee, getting marched back 10 yards a couple of times in front of the kicker at the kickoff. They need to cut that out of their game big time. But yeah, here they got the job done. They probably just about deserved to get the win because of the way that they stuck at it. But just last point, what a numpty. Big Josh Murphy. He'll be really disappointed with him. Well, he'll be really disappointed in himself for that red card.
Maybe that was the start of the demise. Like if you look at that, Ioane misses touch. 2 minutes later, or from that penalty, a couple phases, red card. Then they kick off again, and I thought there was one point, so they've not managed that very well. Who kicked it long? I think Cooney kicks it long, and who was it? Let the ball just go dead, and then you've got to restart on your own line.
Yeah, and
I'm like, what are you doing? Like the game management in the last 5 minutes was crazy from Connacht. Like just non-existent. Because I think whoever's on comms said and I agreed. It was, can't see Connacht losing this, and it went 10 minutes. That red card was crazy.
Just on that game management, quickly, Shanks. Somebody who we have not seen this season is Jack Carty. Well, not a lot this season is Jack Carty. I know you watched him when he was down playing Scarlets last week. But Josh Ioane seems to be keeping him out, and they're going with a 6-2 split on the bench. So for me, I know Jack Carty's got a mistake or two in him as well, but him to come on with that experience in the last 20 minutes, I personally feel that he probably would have seen that game out for Connacht and played a bit more of a kicking game and not missed that touch to give them another opportunity to get the victory. So, yeah, maybe Pete Wilkins and the coaching staff are maybe going to have a look at their split on the bench or maybe get Jack Hardy back in there.
That ball goes to touch, they win the game. Because, like you said, Ulster's mauled defence ain't great, and you miss touch, red card 2 minutes later, and then just fall apart. It'd be super frustrating for Pete Wilkins and the coaching staff there because they did everything to win that game. It was really similar to that Glasgow game, but they just dug in. They dug in, and they looked after the ball.
Their maul defence wasn't the greatest, but their attacking line-out driving was pretty good as well. They scored 3 tries basically from that. So, they can score tries and they can leak them.
Yeah, you got to question though the Connacht maul defence as well. Like, it was a wee bit too easy for both sides. But here, a good game, good home win. Connacht leave with 2 points. They're above Ulster in the table, so I'm sure they'll be okay going down the road back to Galway.
I like this Stevie. Can this Stevie turn up every Wednesday after pumpkin picking with a glass of red on the show, please?
I meant to say that earlier. Glass of red. He says he's not. He's definitely tired. He's got a glass of red.
He's so tired. He's trying to drink his way through it. He's so tired. Right, we'll move on to the.
The crack.
We'll move on to the Welsh derby. Cardiff versus the Scarlets. Scarlets hadn't won this season. They had a draw against Benetton at the start and came close against Connacht.
You didn't fancy Scarlets at all, did you?
I wasn't sure. I thought they were low on confidence. I thought Cardiff probably had a bit more confidence from the games, and some of the attack from Cardiff in the first half was pretty good. Harry Millard scores a couple of tries. They get into position really well. Johan Lloyd created 2 tries, I think, for the Scarlets. One was Gareth Davis, where he just steps inside. The other was a really big carry for him in the first half as well. But the biggest thing for me, now both centres played well, I have to say this as well. Well, 3 centres played well, all Welsh qualified. Johnny Williams, Eddie James and Ben Thomas all had really decent games. But the big issue was Scarlets were down to 13 men and Cardiff just couldn't do enough with it yet again. But there was chances for Cardiff, but they couldn't take them. I mean, Ben Thomas makes a break down the right-hand side, and Blair Murray, I mean, if people can watch it, that is exactly what to do in that position. How many times do you see 15s or wingers that aren't that fussed in tackling, but just commit themselves? So they don't really have to make a tackle, take themselves out of the game, and that try is on easy. But he doesn't. He holds off, and makes a try-saving tackle, maybe a game-saving tackle. It was awesome. But I think if you gave Ben Thomas that opportunity again, probably 9 times out of 10, he'd probably move a little bit in field, straighten a little bit more, and then feed the pass. But, I mean, massive win for the Scarlets. But Cardiff did have their opportunities. But, look, I think rugby is taking your opportunities, and they couldn't take them. Scarlets did and deserved the win.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, I was genuinely so pleased for them because they've had a tough old start of the season, tough end of last season, narrow loss. They drew the first game, didn't they? But did they draw the first game? Benetton. Yeah, they need to win. Gareth Davis is scoring tries for fun. I think Johnny Williams, if he can stay fit, he's so good.
They're playing him at 13, and he has most of his rugby played at 12 for Wales, but he can play 13. What the job he did on Mason Grady was huge. Like Mason Grady, they're trying to use a bit more around the outside on sort of an overs line, an outside break. He covered him non-stop. Defensively, he was really good, and he had some really good attacking moments in the first half. So I like the partnership with Eddie James. You've got Joe Roberts to come back, Max Page, who started the season really well, but I'm happy for the Scarlets because they're the only team without a win so far.
You don't sound very happy.
And they did it. I am, mate. I'm very happy.
Over the moon.
Welsh rugby fan.
You almost said you're over the moon, mate.
You told me to bring the energy, and I
like it.
So stop shooting me down. Right, next up we have the Dragons versus the Lions. We thought this would be a pretty close game.
Can I just say, I'm never, ever, ever backing the Sharks again, ever in my life.
Okay, that's coming up next.
Yeah. That's on the running order. We've got the Lions. I got so excited I saw the Sharks in the running order. Carry on. That was my rant. Bloody
Yeah,
Sharks.
that was
Honestly,
right.
Put the knife away. Put the knife away.
as you
We'll
were.
in a minute.
As I
you were,
was.
Ken.
Dragons score fairly early on. Pretty well worked try. Just Dragons under a lot of pressure, create an overlap, managed to get the ball there. Standard sort of stuff. Harrison Keddy got them right back in the game with amazing intercept and huge amount of pace to go over. Then there was a try from who was it? My mind's gone blank now. Come on, I need your help. Who played number 8? Tane Basham. There it came to me. The position he gets to score that try is incredible. He gets so low that you basically can't stop him. Like he's that low to the ground and gets back into the game, gets the Dragons back into the game. But I just think some of the game management still at the end isn't quite there. I think they're definitely better this season. I think they're more competitive. I think they're showing a lot of desire, I think, than previously we've seen. But they're not quite there to win these games that are there for the taking. I don't think they deserved it. I think the Lions deserved to win that game, but we are seeing improvement. And at the moment, that's all we can ask for. We want to see improvement on last year, so we can't be too harsh.
At least they're in games, Shanks.
Yeah.
At least they're giving themselves a chance to win. I think a lot of that's got to do, obviously their defense is much improved, but their set piece, they're giving themselves opportunities to launch attacks, to have a solid platform, to get something going, to get into some multi-phase attack, which will try and bust a few holes. They're giving themselves those chances where previous seasons, some nights you're going down to Rodney Parade and they're winning 50-60% of their own line out ball. So it's good to see. And if they keep hanging in there, a couple of those results will go their way. There's no doubt about it.
They just slipped off a few too easy tackles. I think for Jared Kearns' try, there was just 2 or 3 missed tackles, pretty weak ones. There was the interesting moment was on 69 minutes, great number. Will Reed had a chance to go for goal or go to the corner, and they were down by 4, and it was a fairly easy kick. I think certainly a kick you should be getting at this level. He hits the post, he misses it, and that would have brought them within 1 point. But you just think, go for it, be bold, because he missed the kick anyway. So that's easy because it's hindsight. John, we get on to your team.
Sorry, I don't know if you heard. I'm never backing the Sharks again. Never, ever in my life. My dark horses for the year, and my word, do they disappoint?
Their defense was so tight.
What defense? Don't get me wrong, Benetton put a good side. Ryan Smith was class.
Yeah.
And it's a tough place to play, and we expect quite a lot of Benetton at home now, I think, so especially. They had a few players come back in. They were missing them for the opening couple of rounds because of what was going on with the Italy tour in the summer. You look at that team on paper for the Sharks, and we say it every week, just so poor. So poor. Lack of cohesion in defence. Just in 1s and 2s without the ball. The Rhino Smith was class, but you look at how easy it's to score, just under the sticks, and then just get super passive. It's just so easy. I don't know. I actually don't know what to say about the Sharks. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Well, you think with Esther Hazen coming in, they would be a little bit more. They'd get the gain line, but he's not featuring as much as he did for Quins really in their attack. He's very good close to the line when he's sort of 5 meters out, as you would imagine. But mate, you're right. Defensively, in that first half, Benetton were able to get on the outside of him way too easy. The defense is so narrow. Then when Rhino Smith went through, they were just all over the shop. They didn't know whether to keep coming up with line speed or to drift out. Benetton's attack is pretty decent. They do have a very good attacking shape, but disappointed with the Sharks.
How long does he get, lads? At the end, last season, Plumtree was under a bit of pressure. And
they won the Challenge Cup though, Stevie.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit like the old Ten Hag situation. It's all right if you win a trophy at the end of the season, but he's been absolutely garbage the whole time. So, I'm pretty sure the Shark supporters aren't watching their team every week. Go on, oh yeah, I'm just looking forward to knockout season and the Challenge Cup, or hopefully we'll win another trophy. They want to be competitive. Like South Africans, we know what they're like. They want to be up there every single week. They want to be battering teams. We know they've got a lot of guys to come back again, but they just look
Here's a
miles
question
off
for
it
you.
in terms
They
of
do, Stevie, though.
how they're being coached. Miles off it.
Here's a question for you both, right? Would you rather World Cup year? Would you rather win a Grand Slam that year, and then at the World Cup get knocked out the pool stages, or finish second in the Six Nations and reach a semi-final of the World Cup?
Grand Slam, bigger payday.
Yeah. More red wine for Stevie as he takes a glug. Mate, you look at. I was trying to remember who played the Sharks. Hendricks, Esterhazen, Mizuku, Hendricks, Nayakane, Grobler, Fenta, Shituku, Buthlik. Like, that's a quality team. I don't care who's coming back. Like, fine, go and get beat. It's not the end of the world, but 38-10 or whatever it finished. And yeah, Benetton had the big boys back. Menoncello came back. Rhino Smith was back. Brex. But come on, lads. I think he's under massive pressure because with that team, the investment, obviously they've got Etzebeth, Khaleesi coming back. Yeah, but he never plays that well. He played all last year and they didn't do anything. Yeah, anyway, they are the league's most frustrating side.
Yeah, totally. I'll give you that, John. We thought it might be changed slightly different this year, but it's not at the moment. But give him a little bit of time.
Shanks, what would you go for? Six Nations Grand Slam, bumped out the pool stage, or?
I've won 2 Grand Slams, so it doesn't mean as much anymore. I don't know. I'll go Grand Slam, definitely. You want to win something, and the Sharks won something last year, so give them a little bit of leeway, I think. Ospreys versus the Bulls. Again, I'm pretty disappointed with the Ospreys. Yeah. They leaked too many tries way too early on. They had an intercept try, and then there was a try from Papier off the line out. They just got themselves into so much trouble. I think they were maybe 26 points down after 24 minutes. And against a team like Bulls, you mentioned the team then for the Sharks. I mean, this Bulls team is right up there as well with names.
How did Keenan Moody play? The centre.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, he's a Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
I think he's so good. Do you know I remember the first game I saw him at centre that I took note. Was it South Africa versus New Zealand at Twickenham?
Twickenham, yeah, he was class. Unbelievable slow try.
Yeah, but he's got such a great skill set, and he's so silky, and he's got great pace, and he sort of glides. He's a proper danger man. I think 13. I think that's his position. But then, the Ospreys had loads of chances again when the Bulls were down to 13 men, and when you got 30 men, you can't be kicking possession away around the halfway line. What is the point? You're just going to slow the game down. You're going to exactly what the opposition want. Just keep the ball in hand because there's going to be space there and back your skills. But there was balls off the top of the line out, which were getting knocked on. There was forward passes. I thought they were pretty ordinary in that second half. And, they scored a try, but the Bulls were down men. So it's difficult to analyze the team in their attack when, teams are down players, especially in, the back. So not that impressed. And look, 2 weeks ago, I was waxing lyrical about how good the Ospreys were against the Stormers. But they're a bit up and down at the moment, is what I would say.
We found out a lot about the Stormers anyway, so I wouldn't base much on the Stormers.
No, okay. But they're not a bad team. Glasgow, Zebre, John. 33-3.
Yeah.
Standard.
Standard. Glasgow made a load of changes. George Hunt got his first start at 9. When Glasgow getting behind you and they just put so much pressure on teams, and it was a bit of a canter in the end, really. Zebre win it for a little bit. We spoke to Jamie Dobie just there. But yeah, Glasgow look good. Glasgow just going through the gears. Not as ruthless or as physical as Leinster, but they're right in amongst it, right where they want to be. loads of young guys coming through. Alexander was coming through. Hiddleston Hooker. They've got guys to come back. Hugh Jones is looking pretty silky, back to his best. But yeah, the Zebra's defence, multi-phase ain't great. If you've got an attack as organised as that, loads of option, everyone can play. Forwards are playing with the ball really nicely. So yeah, very, very impressed by where Glasgow are at the moment.
I'm going to say Jack Dempsey is going to be my star
Player of the
man
year.
for the Six Nations.
Yeah, you reckon? This whole sort of wow, gets a good call. Leinster, back to Australia.
If he plays well, welcome home. Yeah, awkward. I think he's going to have a big year for Scotland.
He is so explosive, man. He wears tiny shorts. I don't know if his legs are that big. He wears very tight shorts, but he talk about Rolls Royce, but I think he's like one of them for guys who just gets the ball, goes forward. He's got mega skill set as well. He's quick. Good operator.
Well, this was a big game for Edinburgh, John, especially after what we've seen recently.
Sure was.
Versus the Stormers, 38-7. Good response from Edinburgh. Are you happy?
Yeah, I am actually happy for them. They still went super direct. And any Edinburgh fans who listen to this might think, God, who cares? They won. The try they scored in the corner for Darcy Graham shows just if you just play with a bit more width in your attack close to goal line, because everything's super direct and they're quite good at it. But most teams are pretty good when you get close to the goal line. And Stormers' scrum bizarrely got taken apart. And I know Dobbo spoke afterwards. He was pretty sort of polite with it, but he was pretty disappointed with some of the refereeing decision because they came into that game with the most dominant scrum in the league, most scrum penalties on their ball, and they got taken apart at scrum time. So for whatever reason, it didn't quite go to plan for them. They went in without a goal kicker. So they played Damien Willems at 10, and Dobbo said before the game, we're going to have to score some tries. They scored one, and they were, I reckon it's the poorest I've seen the Stormers play since they joined the league, because they were way off it. You know, the Stormers last year when it was going backwards and trying to offload and dropping the ball. The last 20, 30 minutes of that game were just an absolute shocker. Ball to ground, offloads, no control. And again, you look at the team they had, the back line they had in particular was full of experience, full of class. They were really poor. So, yeah, I don't know.
Saver, John, for Edinburgh? I know, obviously, coaches are coming under pressure, but when you ship nearly 50 points in a game the week before in the first half, there's question marks going to come up, but it's a big response.
It had to be. And speaking of people, close to the game, you just had to win. And Ben Muncaster, talking about guys coming through, he will be in the Scotland squad for sure. He is playing so well. He played 7 at the weekend, big physical specimen, carries the ball well. Yeah. Probably needs to sort of develop his softer skills a little bit, but talk about a mongrel on the back row, he'll go all day. And he was class, got man of the match. So yeah, I think to answer your question, I think it probably was a bit of a coach. If they got hammered at the weekend, it would have been hard to see a way back potentially. But they had a really tough start to the year. Look at the fixtures: Leinster, then they had to go to altitude, play twice against the Bulls and the Lions, but they've got Cardiff next week. So yeah, they need to build on it.
Easy 5 points.
Easy. Oh, terrible.
Talking of mongrels, Mike Ruddock, who used to coach Wales, he's saying
he's the bus. You know the bus. Is that his nickname?
Why is that?
Because he wasn't a good coach.
You said it.
I didn't say that.
No, he's a lovely bloke. He's a lovely bloke. I love him loads. Disciplined mad dogs is what he used to say. Disciplined mad dogs. It's a giggle every time he'd say it. They say fire in the heart, ice in the head. I tell you what Edinburgh did well in that game, John. I don't know if you agree. I bloody hope you do. They kicked a lot. They kicked a lot at the start, right? So territory was a massive thing for them, I think, and they didn't give Stormers any possession in their 22 until 23 minutes. Which is exactly what you want. At the start of the game, you don't want to give teams anything. I think Ross Thompson's 50-22 was massive after an offload. And then that led to the Darcy Graham try, which makes it, I think, 21-7. Then, the game's nearly gone then. So a couple of big
Ross
moments.
Thompson was good. He was good, and it's interesting speaking to Sean Ebrey. Been a lot of talk. Pre-season was all about attack, speed of ball, play, almost a throwback to the Mike Blair kind of generation when he was coach there. And he kind of said, we've got to kick the ball more, we've got to control the game. And you saw the first couple of times Evan had the ball, Ross Thompson's immediately looking to kick the ball. So which
is fine because you know your backs are against the wall massively. There's huge amount of pressure on you, and you've got to approach it maybe slightly different to someone like Glasgow might. So, well done, Edinburgh.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well
What
done.
did you say? What did you say your praise was? What word did you use?
Effusive.
You sent me. Yes. Well done.
You like that?
Yeah, I did very much. It's not something you'd normally say in a sentence. So you copied it off someone. Right, we are now on to the URC Unloaded Player of the Round. Which one of you bad boys want to take this?
Oh,
Because mine.
I think we're both happy to talk about Rhino Smith, but he was so good. Just rolling back the years. You never see him having a bad game. Like even when Benetton got pumped by 30 or 40 points a few seasons ago, he was always going okay. Like he was always going all right.
Yep, making breaks
against the Sharks. He takes a lot of responsibility on his shoulders. He was brilliant. Scored a nice try, making line breaks, skillful, good under the 2 tries, good under the high ball. Kicks a goal the odd time as well. And he's what age is he?
I was just looking that up. 31.
31.
Plenty of life left.
So
loads
of life left in him. So
he's a slick operator.
He's been awesome. He is.
Yeah, he's brave as well. Like some of the lines he hits, he puts it about. You know, he has to run quite brave lines at 15. Runs through the ball as well. So do you know what I mean by that? Like, you know, some players wait till they catch the ball and then accelerate. You know, he will just
like you, Shanks.
hit a huge line, like Lee Byrne. He was
Lee Byrne in the White Channel.
The best line hitter I knew. So well done, Rhino Smith from Benetton. You are our URC Unloaded Player of the Round. Rants of the Week time. John, have we had yours?
Just the Sharks. Come on, lads, get it together. Okay. No, that'll be it. And my golf, new clubs. So shy, honestly, lads. Got new clubs. I thought I was going to fix anyway. No, they weren't. They're bloody expensive. Went out.
Saves having lessons, though, doesn't it? Just get new clubs. It's much
easier. We don't need lessons now. Save money in lessons. Yeah, thinned my first 5-iron, thinned the wedge, chunked a few. Yeah, not for me, lads.
Who are we playing with? Were you playing with your family?
No, played a couple of guys with Glen Eagles.
With your wife?
No, God, no.
You're the type of guy
that takes...
John's the type of guy to take his wife to the pub and he'll get a pint and she'll have to watch him on the fruit machine. He's that type of guy. I know it.
No, I treated the whole family to Glen Eagles. That was it. It was beautiful, but the golf was great. Anyway, anyone else got rants?
Spot in fairness. Looks beautiful.
Oh, it's unbelievable, lads. We'll get a day up there. URC Unloaded
looks
from
really good.
Yeah, Stevie, any rants, mate?
No rant, but it's to do with Ben, our producer. So he's getting married late next year, late end of next year. And do you know the way when we're in the studio, we always like get a Camille or a pizza or like we order something in. So as soon as I arrived on site, I just looked at Ben and he looked like he'd lost a couple of kgs. He looked a lot slimmer, looking healthy. So we ordered the Camille, and then all of a sudden he comes downstairs with his own prepared meatballs and pasta.
Good on him.
It smelled so bad. So I'm not sure if that's a rant or it's a pat on the back for Ben, but it just doesn't sit well with me when somebody's eating meatballs in the corner. And I think there were pork meatballs as well. They weren't even the real deal.
No, tell you what Ryan Wilson brought to the Glasgow game. Ryan Wilson brought artichokes to the Glasgow game.
Why?
I don't know.
Turkey.
Mate, I told him to bring some snacks because we were there for a while, and he showed up with artichokes. I was like, mate, come on now.
That is the worst snack.
The worst snack I've ever seen in my life, ever.
I bring sausages sometimes or pies.
You love a sausage, don't you, Shanks?
Mate,
Those
honestly,
one with fingers in there. Remember that one, Shanks? With the fingers in there.
have a think of another like meat-based snack that's easier to eat than a sausage at halftime. It's very difficult to find. Bit of biltong, but the biltong isn't warm. It's a bit
I brought
chewy.
some Drewvorst actually. Tinus was enjoying that. Brought some Drewvorst. Very good.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm struggling for rants really. I don't really want to hammer the referees
Again.
anymore. We've had a season of that. Nearly every week was a referee rant. So weather. All right. Weather's terrible at the moment. I don't know what it's like with you boys, but it's biblical here.
Yeah. Not too bad where I am now. It's been okay.
All right. Well, there we are. Right. Let's preview this weekend's action before we sign off. Starting Friday, Ulster versus the Ospreys. I'm there. I'm not sure who I'm with. But do I have to bring boots, Stevie?
Yes, you do, Shanks.
Oh, for
yeah,
God's
you have to bring
sake.
boots.
Grow up.
It's so weird. Like, you have to wear boots, and then if you just turn up without any boots, it's like that's okay. But if you bring boots, you have to wear boots. So just don't bring them in.
They'll bring boots, mate.
Yeah.
Fine. What about
Just don't
those? I'll bring the boots that you like, John. What do you call them? My brown Timberlands.
No, the absolute Hummers.
the Hummers.
They have thinkers.
Bring your golf shoes, Shanks. Bring your golf shoes.
Yeah.
Do the job,
so Ulster Ospreys.
Yeah.
Ulster.
Big Ian Henderson's going to be missing for Ulster. He picked up an HIA at the weekend, so he's
I saw that.
going to be
Did
out.
they look at that tackle, Stevie? Because it didn't look like any arms. It looked like a shoulder charge.
No. Yeah, it did. But again, in slow motion, Shanks, it did look a lot worse than for me. It was more of a rugby incident, and actually the coaching staff. It was brought up after the game. A guy called Dan Soper, who's attack coach, he brought it up and was like, "Oh, we're trying to make the game safer, but it wasn't really that way tonight, was it?" As in, like, asking the reporter the question, "Was it about that tackle?" But anyway, nothing was done at the time. Hendy's missing. They're welcoming back Cormac Ezechukwu, Harry Sheridan, Jude Postlethwaite might be out injured. Who was the other injury that went off? Ethan McElroy went off, injured at fullback. Stuart McCluskey might be back this week. So yeah, they're going to have a half decent team out, and I think that half decent team out is going to be too good for the Ospreys.
Yeah, a bit like you in slow mo. You look all right in real time, but when it's slowed down. Ooh, brother. Talking about injuries and people not available, Ospreys are really struggling. Loads out injured, or being rested because of international duties coming up. So it's going to be a tough ask for the Ospreys. I don't think they've got enough in their squad. They've got small squads now anyway because they've had to cut everything. So that's going to be a tough game. If they can come away with any points, I think they'll be happy. Scarlets Bulls as well on Friday. I think Bulls are in too much good form at the moment. Too big, too powerful. Scarlets. I tell you, Tame Plumtree, JB, proper athlete. Like, if he can just keep his head cool a little bit defensively, he tends to shoot out the line.
Yeah, he does the old daft thing, but he's got the X factor.
I know. Yeah,
he does some daft stuff. He's good, man. He's a hell of a player. He's got a handful of caps, doesn't he? But he needs to. I mean, you think who's he gonna overtake? Is he better than Wainwright? Is Falatau going to be back fit? Maybe not. No. I don't know.
He reminds me of like somebody like Rocky Elson. That sort of player.
Pretty slight.
Yep. Well, anyway, he had a good game. He just needs to, I think, work on a few things, stay connected defensively, and not see any sort of red mist. And I think he'll be pretty decent for Wales and the Scarlets. Zebre Lions. Ooh. I'm going to go Zebre.
No, Lions on a good run of form. Too much star power in that team. Too much quality.
They were okay, John, against the Dragons. I wouldn't say they reached their home form, but they were okay. I wouldn't say they were like wow.
Would you back Zebre to beat Dragons then? Would you?
Where? Home?
Yeah.
Be close.
Or away.
Exactly, that's the problem. Yeah.
You asked me home first, so I'll give you an answer. Right, we'll move on to Sharks at home.
Glasgow
versus
by 100.
Glasgow. John, just so you know, this isn't altitude, Durban.
Sea level, been there.
Yeah.
There's a beats there.
Called
Yeah.
Sharks for a reason. Glasgow by loads.
Really?
Yeah.
Loads?
Loads.
Ooh, I think Glasgow will win. I'm not sure by loads.
You'd expect to see a reaction from Sharks, but Glasgow went to South Africa last year. They won't be too worried about it. So yeah, I think Glasgow look too organised. Depends if will we see South African guys back, the Khaleesi's and Etzebeths and
maybe.
Yeah.
maybe,
so.
That might make things interesting, but certainly I think Glasgow look too organised.
It is difficult because we can't see teams yet. But when just quantify loads, 40,
25 points, clear.
Ooh.
Any resting, John, for the Scottish lads? Obviously, two Pilatus played a lot of minutes early on in the season, like some of the other, like Mackay played quite a lot.
I don't know, actually.
He's off at all. Will
Stay.
they rotate?
Yeah, Jack Dempsey missed the start of the tournament. He missed a couple at the start. Staines been out. That's what Franco Smith does so well. Makes a few changes, gives guys. He doesn't rest them all in one go like some teams will do. Take them all out, put them all back in. He just filters them in and out. Two Pilatus probably needs, manage looking at how important he's going to be for Glasgow and Scotland. But they got so much. I just think they got so much quality and depth now. And when they slip in, there's zero difference to how their performance is. So,
do you know what game I'd love to watch this weekend? I'd love it. I'd love either Leinster Glasgow in the Aviva or Glasgow Leinster in Murrayfield.
Yeah,
that'd be a wicked game right now. Two teams where they are. We'll have to wait for that. Okay, Stormers Munster.
Stormers. They can't be worse. Can't be worse.
I'm gonna go Stormers. Munster just ravaged with injuries. I think Jeremy Loughman looked like a bad facial injury at the weekend as well. So they are light on the deck when it comes to front row forwards. So I'll tell you what, I know we didn't mention him there, Shanks, and he probably play this weekend again, was Sean O'Brien on the wing for Munster. How good was he against Leinster? It was unbelievable. And he was away in South Africa for the Emerging Ireland tour the week before. So quality operator, just to give him a shout out. But
I remember when he picked off the Ospreys a couple of years ago. Maybe it might have been last year. A couple of
last season. That was last season.
Finished him off as well. Yeah, big lump, isn't he? But he mostly plays centre, or he wants to play centre, but he's playing a bit he's filling in on the wing basically at the moment.
Yeah.
But I like him a lot. So that is a rerun of the 2023 final, Stormers Munster. Edinburgh versus Cardiff.
Edinburgh home, I think. Yeah.
Edinburgh.
Enough said.
Just clearing my throat. Connacht Leinster.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Connacht.
Okay.
Leinster.
I wonder now. This is a big game for me because I wonder what sort of team Leinster will put out. Whether previous years we've seen a different team to what we just saw against Munster, and whether or not they're starting to feel a bit of the pressure and they'll start rolling out more of a first team for majority of matches.
Well, they went full deck against Benetton, full deck against Munster. Will they go the same again against Connacht away from home?
You just basically copied what I said.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. That's what we'll find out.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Okay.
And then finally, Dragons versus Benetton. I'm going with Dragons on this.
Benetton. Got the big dogs back. Menoncello.
Yeah.
Brex.
Benetton.
Smith. Amaro. Yeah.
I'm really liking Umaga at 10.
Yeah.
He was a bit sketchy last year. A little bit up and down. He's a bit more consistent.
No doubt he's got a brilliant skill set.
40 or 50 caps for Wasps, did he, Shanks?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. But I think he's sort of found his feet now at Benetton, and they are in good form. But I think the Dragons, Rodney Parade. It's a good
Dreaming,
atmosphere there at the
mate.
moment.
Dreaming,
boys. Yeah.
chaps. Dreaming.
I tell you, there was a great atmosphere at Cardiff Scarlets as well. I have to say that.
They look good.
Full Welsh derby. There was a bit of handbags, man bags, whatever you want to call it. There was a bit of tussle, a lot of
I
pushing.
like that. I like that on commentary, Shanks. I like that on commentary. Yeah. There was no letters being written in by anybody that was offended.
Yeah, I was better this week on commentary, mostly because Ryan Wilson wasn't next to me. So. he's got a knack at dragging you down.
Oh. Shocker.
Artichokes, eh? It's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Lads, that is it. Got any big plans for this week that we need to know about before I let you go?
No.
Anything exciting happening?
No.
Quiet, mate. Recovering.
Yeah.
No.
Recovering from your flu, are you, John, still?
No, I go over that one. Go over that one.
Okay.
Recovery from being away, mate. Stevie,
Another 5K before bed, John?
Nah. Ran 10K the weekend, lads. So just getting back into the running. Slow as hell, but good for mind, good for soul.
I couldn't think of anything worse.
No.
Jesus.
No. You never see anyone running with a smile on their face, do you? Never. It's always just going through a massive amount of pain and grimaces.
No, I love it. I don't hate it.
Yeah.
How's the back, John? Running? Not too bad.
Right. It's all right, actually. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I don't want. I've got one speed, and it's not fast. Just get the miles in.
Do an Ironman with that.
I'm doing one of these stupid high rocks things. That's the problem.
Oh yeah, I've heard that's the new training.
Committed.
Tough.
Oh.
Anyway,
yeah, look. Yeah, everyone has a midlife crisis. I hope you get through it, John. Right. That is it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, you can watch every game live on Premier Sport. Thank you. And we shall be seeing you next week. Goodbye.
Thanks, Tom.